I'm interested to know if Google Maps says you can go in China.
Yeah, you can. But
Because that would mean they would have had to driven the roads in China.
Yes,
yeah.
Google has worked with China extensively, and that's why they have the Great Firewall. Google helped build it.
No, Google didn't help build the Great Firewall of China. That was Cisco.
Okay, they say that.
That
Oh,
is not true. Cisco built the Great Firewall of China. But Google has been working with the Chinese government about mapping their roads, as well as buying Mandiant, a cybersecurity firm, which it's a pretty big fucking deal. There's not a lot of details on the deal just yet. Google bought Mandiant for $4.5 billion, especially to be able to compete against Microsoft and Amazon. For Google, they don't really have a big business division like Microsoft has had for years, and Amazon's been able to pull out of the woodworks with. So Google's definitely trying to catch up with them, and personally, I believe with the hiring of cybersecurity engineers for the company, they may be allowing crypto transactions on Google Pay.
so Apple Pay is allowing it already.
Mm-hmm.
My new crypto wallet asked me if I wanted to link my Apple Pay with it, and so I can use my crypto. I
Did
said, "Fuck no."
fuck no.
You can take my $10 in Shiba coin.
No, but this is a pretty big fucking deal for Google. Like, I personally believe they're gonna come out and try to really establish themselves as a business for business
But
type of
what
directive.
role would they fill, right? Like, so that's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Microsoft has Outlook, they have OneNotes, they
Mm-hmm.
have a string of business assets. Like, what does Google
Easier.
have
Yeah.
that would be a business asset?
Well, Google already has all of that as well. I mean, you can buy what's it called? G Suites now. You can like buy that and you can have fucking 50 gigabytes of storage on your
I think
Google
it's just
Drive.
another choice for employers because you said
Mm-hmm.
like Microsoft has their own programs, and then Amazon Web Services (AWS) is like ramping up and acquiring a lot of contracts. Like cloud storage is like really competitive because we have what, like SAP, we have we saw a billboard for this the other day by y'all. It said sorry SAP, and the company was called OLED or something like that,
Well,
for cloud
even
storage.
Rackspace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rackspace is huge here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think it's just like another option. And Google is so integrated in everything that we do. Like for a lot of companies, it probably would just make sense for them, especially if Google is investing this much money in it. But Google is known to like scrap projects fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it like popped in my head as soon as Adam started talking about this. I was like, so let's take bets. How long do you think before this company
I'm
is destroyed?
all right. All right. I'm not making odds. You just put money in the pot. How many months, Ethan?
6 months.
6 months. How much are you putting? $1?
Uh, 10 Shiba.
10 Shiba. All right. Tell you what. I'll put in like $20. 2 years.
I don't want to
Uh,
give Google any more money than I've already given Google. They already have my data.
Right.
well, but that's the thing, right? Like Google's name right now on personal use has been tarnished greatly over the last couple of years
Mm-hmm.
for censorship and other items. Lack of security, spam. They're the worst for spam.
Mm-hmm.
And so why would I want to use a crappier Microsoft when I could just use Microsoft?
I mean, look at the cost point. Google Suites, G Suites, it's $5 a person, as opposed to the traditional $10 with Microsoft. And with Amazon, you pay as you go. So like
I
for
know,
however much
but when
time
you're
you use it, you
talking
pay for that
business,
time.
right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking a small business or a small corporation, because I assume who Google will be going after, because
Mm-hmm.
it'd be really hard for Google to go after Microsoft's like corporate
Amazon.
business.
Well, let
Yeah.
me give you peace of mind about Mandiant,
So
the company. So
one question,
Mhm.
real quick: does Google use Microsoft products in their corporate headquarters?
They probably don't, but to give you a little bit of peace of mind about the purchase of Mandiant, the cybersecurity company, was the company to detect the SolarWinds hack that happened a couple of years ago. So
Yeah,
they were the ones that really
I've heard
pointed
their
that
name a
out.
couple times. I mean, they're at least a pretty decent firm.
Like the hope that Google has here is that them purchasing Mandiant will make them be more serious about cybersecurity. And
Yeah,
I could
I
see
just
that. I don't
I
think
wouldn't
it
use
will
a Google
happen.
product like
Yeah.
that. I don't use Google products for personal, and I definitely wouldn't use them for business.
Mm-hmm.
China
Well,
agrees.
It's good that they're like using this because like cyber attacks are obviously on the rise, right? Like so any way they can prevent it, hacks happening or things of that nature, I think is pretty smart on Google because that's like a prime job market right now is cybersecurity or anything IT related. So might if anything, it's more jobs in the Google
I hope
sector.
so. Either this works out great for Google and they actually step up a level, or Google just took one of the best cybersecurity firms out of business. You know,
No, I hope
Like,
Maybe.
not.
Well, Google also purchased like Lenovo, which is not a security like service, but they purchased them, and then no, they purchased
IBM
some.
purchased Lenovo.
No, they purchased something else, and then they turned around and sold it to Lenovo like 2 years later. So it's always a possibility that they could sell Mandiant later on.
I mean, there were talks that Microsoft would be purchasing Mandiant. As to why that didn't happen, I don't know.
Google swooped
Google
in and gave a
Flash.
better offer.
Google Flash that fat sack.
Microsoft just went under like a major merger right now too, so that probably had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Motorola Mobility,
Oh.
and then they sold it to Lenovo.
That makes sense. It's a shame Motorola closed its doors. I had no beef with that phone. That phone manufacturer. They're great.
I love my Motorola.
They're no Nokia.
Oh, yeah.
True. Nothing compares to Nokia, but Motorola was my first like flip phone, and it had a little light around it.
Yeah. I had the Razor.
Razor for 3 months, 4 months.
That's
I did.
right.
I loved it. I loved having the flip phone back. Like, it was so nice.
There's a lot more options now in the flip phone game since they came
Yeah.
out with that.
I mean, Samsung has its, and it came out around the same time as Motorola's new Razor. I went with Motorola just because it had like the screen on the front, and that's what I really wanted. But the inside, just one, it was Android, so it was hard for me to function with it, and it was slow, it was hard. So that's why I ended up having to go back to my iPhone. But
Every person I've heard complain about the Android system uses some rinky-dink Android phone. Like, they're not complaining that, oh, I got a Galaxy Note and I hate it. And it's like, I got the
Yeah.
Android 4 from T-Mobile and I hate it.
I love my
love it.
S21.
I like my iPhone.
I just give me the iPhone and flip it. Let me flip it.
I mean, the iPhone 6, you could bend it.
That was it by
Like-
design.
So, like, Samsung, they're getting real good with the Fold, and they pretty much figured out all their little issues with it.
Oh, dude, I was talking to our new landlord, and he has a Fold. He has a Fold 2. And I said, oh, I almost got that phone. How do you like it? And he goes, it's not great. When it's closed, you have a tiny screen. And, like, That was his like biggest complaint, and I was like, oh yeah. I looked at the Google Duo, but the Microsoft Duo, but they wanted $4,000 for it.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
$4,000.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say though, for all those teachers who are like, "You're not gonna have a calculator in your pocket," I have a very expensive calculator in my pocket. Okay.
Fucking expensive.
I would argue that my phone costs just as much as the T130s or whatever we had to buy.
All you did was spell boobs on it.
Yeah.
I had a T89 programmable one. That thing was fucking awesome.
Right? Like they always said you needed this big graphing calculator, and I literally had one of the, it was like the little Texas Instruments, but the little ones and that's all I ever had, and I was totally fine.
Hmm. You still have it to this day, right?
Yep.
They said the same thing about cursive, right?
Well, they brought it back now. Like
I'm
they
glad
have to
that they
teach it
did.
now.
They do teach cursive in school. I don't think they ever stop.
Well, that wraps up another great episode, and don't forget to join our amazing and supportive community on Discord.
In our Discord, you can find game nights, watch parties, food pics, Dungeons and Dragons, and more. What's not to love about that? We have a little something for everyone. Head over to our website, officialmillennials.com, and you'll find more info, especially our featured Gamer of the Week.
Speaking of something for everyone, we have a book club. We read a book almost every month and talk through it together. We also have a special perk for our subs to discuss other books in a series called Chapter 2.
Don't forget to swing by YouTube and drop us a follow at Official Millennials. You can also find us on Twitter at MillsOfficial. We appreciate all the support, and y'all have a good one.
This is an Official Millennials production.